Hello and welcome to the webinar on TKT or CELTA. That's the topic we're discussing today. My name is Rachel Smith. I'm Head of Studies at Tenidiomas. I'm a TKT and CELTA tutor, and I'm joined today by my colleague Rachel Broughton, who's going to be moderating the comment section, and she is also a TKT and CELTA tutor. Okay. Now, we're not going to be having a question and answer session at the end of this. Okay, and you can write your comments in the chat below, and Rachel Broughton will answer simple questions in the moment, and later we will give you a more complete response by email. Okay, so we're going to collect all of your questions together and we will send you a complete response later on. Okay, this session is being recorded, just for your information. Okay, so let's get started. What we're going to look at today is, what is the TKT? Who's it for? What's the CELTA? Who is that for? The main differences between TKT and CELTA, so you can make an informed decision on the best course for you. And remember that during the presentation, you can ask questions below, and Rachel Broughton is going to be moderating that. Right, before we get started, let's have just a little bit of background information, see where we all are. What is your teaching background? I'm going to start a little vote here. Can you please select the option that best describes you and your teaching background at this moment? Okay, I'm going to finalize the vote now. And let's have a look. So we've got quite a mix of people. We've got 33% of people have been teaching for 3 years or more and have a qualification, don't have a qualification, and 22% have a teaching qualification, and we've got lots of people who are considering becoming a teacher as well. Well, the great thing about CELTA and TKT is that they are very, very flexible, and they can suit lots of different profiles. But let's look at a bit more detail, shall we? Okay, so what exactly is the TKT? TKT stands for the Teaching Knowledge Test, okay? And that means it's focusing on what you know about teaching. It comes in 3 main modules. You can do all 3 modules, or you can choose to do specific ones. It helps you build your confidence. It gives you lots of information about teaching. It's very flexible because you can do it whenever you want to, and it's relatively cost effective. It's also internationally recognized. Let's have a look a bit more at the modules. Okay, so we're focusing today on TKT modules 1, 2, and 3. There are 2 other modules available, the CLIL module and the Young Learners module. We're not going to be focusing on those today, but if you do want more information about those, put it in the comments and Rachel will make a note of that and we'll get in touch with you after the meeting. Okay, so module 1, we're looking at language systems, background to language teaching and learning. Module 2, we're looking at lesson planning, and module 3, the teaching and learning process. Let's break that down a little bit more. What does that mean? Well, in module 1, you're looking at teaching grammar, vocab, pronunciation, skills. How do students learn? Different ways of teaching different student profiles, and the selection of different materials, tasks, and activities. So you can see there's a lot going on in that module 1 course. Module 2 is more about planning and effective use of resources. So what happens inside the classroom. Module 3, what is the role of the teacher? What is the role of the student? And we're focusing on classroom management.
Rachel, sorry, I can still see the poll on my screen. The poll hasn't disappeared. Polling, what's your teaching background?
Okay, has that gone now?
And yes, gone now.
Okay, great. Sorry about that, everyone.
Lovely.
Okay, so exactly what is involved in the test? Well, the test is an 80-minute test for each module. You have 80 questions based on these different topics. Who is the TKT for? Let's have a look at this. TKT is for people who are teaching now. You could be a new teacher or a teacher with many years of experience. Remember, the TKT is the teaching knowledge test. So if you're not a teacher, you don't have that knowledge. So it's not for people who have no experience in the classroom. Okay? So people who've got a minimum level of B1 in English, although in my experience, I think a solid B2 level would be more realistic and less stressful for you. If you're not sure what level you're at, have a look at our website, tenidiomas.com. We have a level test, a free level test, and that will tell you the level of English that you've got. If you need more information, you can always get in touch with us and we can have an interview to see if you are an appropriate level and an appropriate profile for the course. Okay, it's not teacher training. This is really important. It's teacher development. Now, what's the difference? If you're not a teacher, you need to do a course to learn to be a teacher. That's teacher training. When you are a teacher, it doesn't just stop there. You have to keep developing and improving your skills constantly. That never ends. And that's teacher development. So you're a teacher, but you want to constantly recycle, learn new techniques, and maybe have internationally recognized qualifications to improve your CV. Okay. We were talking before about how the TKT is very flexible. So this is what I mean by flexibility. The TKT is an exam. You can enter for the exam. You can prepare at home with self-study. We'll give you details of that later on. And there are also online courses. These are available from various centres. And some centres have face-to-face local courses that you can attend. So depending on your needs, on your timetable, this could be a good option for you. Okay, we were talking about this before. It's assessed by an 80-minute exam of 80 questions. So module 1 has an exam, an 80-minute exam, module 2 and module 3. This is a key point. There's no teaching observation or teaching practice, so it's not suitable for people who want to train to be teachers. Now, we've spoken about this already, but I think this is a really important point to focus on. If you are not a teacher, you don't have the teaching knowledge, it would be too theoretical for you. It's only available in English, so at the moment you cannot do the TKT in any other language. And the exam is paper-based. Again, a key point, if you can't get to a centre, you can only do it in a centre on paper. And the exams are internationally recognised. So I've prepared a couple of examples of the exam, just to give you a little bit of orientation to see exactly what happens in the exam. Have a look over here. So this is an example from the module 1, which is focused on language, grammar here. Can you remember how many questions there are? Okay, yes, 80. And can you remember how long? Yes, 80 minutes. Okay. Have a look over here. You've got your question. Complete the sentences about the uses of adverbs with one of the three possible endings. Okay, you've got your question and your three options. I'm going to give you a few moments to read and make a note on a piece of paper where you think that answer is. Okay, how did you do? Did you get them right? Here's another one that I prepared for you. Okay, so again, this is from module 1. This one is about pronunciation. And yes, you need to learn the phonetic script, phonemic symbols if you are going to do the test. So that's one thing to bear in mind. If you are completely new to the phonemic symbols and the phonetic script, perhaps you would be better off doing a course rather than self-studying. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to have a look at these three questions and see if you can identify which word contains this sound. Okay, a little bit of help here. If you are completely new to phonemic symbols, this is an E sound, a long E. This is a sh sound, and this one is a j sound. If that can help you. Okay, you made a note? Let's look at the answers. Did you get those right? Okay, so those are two brief examples. Remember, you've got 80 questions, some of them multiple choice, some of them matching, but they more or less have this kind of profile. So you can see the importance of practicing test format before you do the test. So whether that's through self-study or through a course, that is up to you. Okay, now this is very wordy. Don't panic because you can see at the top here, I've got a reference for you so you can find all of this information later. This is from the TKT handbook, and really it's just, I just want you to see how the exam is assessed. The lowest band is a band 1, and this shows that you have some knowledge, but it's restricted knowledge. The highest band is a band 4, and this shows that you have comprehensive and accurate knowledge of all areas of the specific module. All of this is available for you. Don't worry about having to write anything down right now. You will receive this whole presentation after the webinar, and you also have the information to download the handbook. The handbook also contains some tests, so you can do some practice and see if it's the course for you. Okay, when you pass that teaching knowledge test, you get the following module. You can see this person did the TKT module 2. Do you remember what that was focusing on? Lesson planning. And this person got a band 3. Okay, so that's the second highest band. If you have any more questions about teaching knowledge test, put it down in the comments and we will get back to you. Okay, let's focus on CELTA. What is CELTA? It's the Certificate in Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. It's really the most widely recognized English teaching qualification. Most academies will ask for this qualification. And a recent study by Cambridge English shows that 3 out of 4 English language teaching jobs internationally require a CELTA qualification. What is involved in the CELTA? Well, let's have a look. Rather than an exam, with the CELTA, you create a portfolio. So there is no exam in CELTA. It's all coursework that goes into this portfolio. The portfolio consists of your observed teaching practice. So we can already see a big difference between TKT and CELTA. With CELTA, you have 6 hours of teaching practice. You go into the classroom with the real life students and you have 6 hours of teaching practice with them. You will need to create lesson plans, materials, and reflections, because as a teacher, it's very important that we constantly reflect on our teaching practice. Okay, and you will also be looking at 4 assignments. You will have to complete 4 assignments during the course. One thing to remember is that the course is externally moderated by a Cambridge assessor. Okay, so this means that an assessor will come to the course, they will see the quality of the teaching, they will check that the grading system is coordinated with the Cambridge system, so you are assured of quality. Not everybody can have a Cambridge CELTA course. You have to comply with many different regulations. And the criteria, the CELTA is graded on a criteria-based system. Now, there's a lot of criteria. So you can see here, you've got a link for the Cambridge English CELTA syllabus, and this shows you all of the criteria that you need to focus on during the course. Your tutors will guide you through that, obviously. Okay, and what will you be learning? Well, you'll be creating your portfolio based on these 5 topics. So you can already see that you're a lot more in depth than the TKT. And we can also see that it's a lot more practical than the TKT because you have that teaching practice and the observation component. Okay, so who is the CELTA for? Brand new teachers starting their career, so people who maybe have come out of a teaching qualification already, but they want to specialize in English language teachers. Perhaps for people who've never entered a classroom in their life and they want to start teaching. So it will take you from 0 to a teacher. And it will also, if you're already a teacher, it will give you the opportunity to hone your skills and to have clear feedback on your teaching practice. It's open for first language English speakers and non-first language speakers. If you are a teacher with some experience who wants to develop your skills, then this is the perfect course for you. If you're a brand new teacher, it's also the course for you. If you want to travel and teach English, as we already mentioned, 3 out of 4 jobs internationally ask for the CELTA. So this is a really interesting course for you to do if that fits your profile. Perhaps you've been working in a different area and you want to retrain as a teacher. You must have a minimum, an absolute minimum of a C1 in written and spoken English. This is really important because the requirements of the CELTA are very intense. You need to be able to write these lesson plans. You need to be able to write your assignments in accurate English. And you need to have a level of education that would allow you to start a degree or an equivalent course or qualification. If you're not sure about any of these options here, get in touch with us here at Tenidiomas. If you're not sure whether you fit this profile, we can have a short interview to check that you fit the profile, to find what course would be the best one for you. Now, there are different types of courses available with CELTA, but you must do a course. This is very different from TKT, where you can just sign up to do the exam. There is no exam in CELTA. It is the course. It's the coursework that is assessed. And it's available at accredited centres only. Let's look at the different options. You've got an intensive face-to-face. That means that you are here in the classroom, in person. Normally, these courses are 4 weeks. Some centres it might be 5 weeks. We also have an intensive face-to-face online. Now this option is a relatively new option. Before COVID, this did not exist, but Cambridge have adapted to the new world that we live in, and they have created the online face-to-face. So all of your teaching practice, all of your tutorials are online. You do not come into any centre. Before COVID, the options that you had were the hybrid intensive or blended learning. In this case, your teaching practice is in a centre, in person. But the tutorials are all online, and it involves a lot of self-study. So the intensive face-to-face is becoming a lot more popular than the blended learning option. Now, various options exist. We have intensive courses of 4 weeks. Normally, if it's an online intensive, it's 5 or 6 weeks. Just because of the online format, you often need a little bit more downtime to rest away from the computer. There are courses available for 3 months. There are courses available for 1 academic year. So there are many, many different options. You need to find the option that best fits your circumstances at the moment. The CELTA course is extremely intensive. The workload is very, very dense. So if you're doing it over a month or 5 weeks, you need to consider whether you can handle this intense workload. If not, if the circumstances of your life at the moment do not permit that, then a longer course would suit you better. 3 months, 5 months, a year, depending on the different centres that are available. Always check with your centre and see what options are available. It's important that the course fits you rather than you having to fit into the course, because you need to enjoy this experience as well. Okay, let's look at these main differences. TKT and CELTA, what have we learned today? Well, TKT, it tests your teaching knowledge. CELTA trains you to teach English. And if you're already a teacher, it will give you the critical skills to assess your teaching and get to the next level. On the CELTA courses we've had here in Tenidiomas, I've taught people who've never walked into a classroom before, and also people who have 15 years of teaching experience and they've done a master's degree in teaching. Both of these profiles have gained a lot of information, different information, because they're at different levels of the teaching careers, but they still get a lot from this course. So you can see the flexibility there. Okay, TKT, you need a minimum of B1. And CELTA, you need a minimum of C1. So there are some gateways in place there. TKT is theoretical and CELTA is practical and theoretical. Teaching practice, it exists in CELTA, you've got 6 hours, and there's no teaching practice in a TKT. And there is no observation in a TKT, but there is in a CELTA, and this is a requirement. You have an exam in TKT, you have a portfolio in the CELTA. You can do a course in TKT, and it's really recommendable to do a course. But on the CELTA, it is the course. You have no choice there, it's the course. But there are various course options that exist. And for TKT, there are no prerequisites for a tutor, but make sure you go to a reputable centre. And for CELTA, well, CELTA tutors undergo a very rigorous training procedure, and the course is externally moderated, so quality is assured. Okay, were you paying attention? Let's see, I've got some sentences here. I want you to think whether they are TKT or CELTA. So assessment is via an exam. If you want to make a note. Did you get it right? TKT. Okay, a minimum C1, CELTA or TKT? Okay, good stuff. Trains you to teach English. Yes, it's the CELTA. And there's no teaching practice? TKT. Okay, let's have a look at some student profiles. So I've prepared some little profiles for you, so you can have a look at these and think about which course is the best course for these people. Let's have a look at profile 1. Okay, Andrea, B1 level of English. She's a teacher in academy, so she's got some teaching experience and she wants to optimize her CV. What do you think? Okay, that is quite conclusive. We've got the TKT course and exam. Yes, she could do the exam only, but it is recommendable to do the course, or at least some self-study before doing that. Okay, let's have a look at a different profile. Okay, this is David. David's got a C2 level of English, so that's the highest level on the Common European Framework scale. He's taught English informally to friends. He wants to become a full-time teacher. He's not working at the moment. He's got quite a lot of time, isn't he? Let's have a look. I'm going to finalise the vote now. Yes, a CELTA would be the best option for him. And really, whether he decides to do a longer course or an intensive, it really depends on his circumstances at the moment. He's not working at the moment, so maybe he's got a lot of time to do an intensive course. Okay, I've got another one for you. It's the last one. Okay, so Geraint's L1 is English. What does L1 mean? Yes, first language. So his first language is English. He's never taught. He'd like to teach and he'd like to travel. He has a job and he can't take time off. Let's have a look, just a couple more seconds to vote. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so we've got some people have said the exam only. Now, he has never taught before. So if you've never taught before, the TKT wouldn't be the best choice for Geraint because he doesn't have the knowledge. The best course for him probably would be a 9 months or certainly a 3-month CELTA because he's working, he can't take time off. And the CELTA intensive is a 9 to 5 or earlier or later, but it's every day of the week for 1 month. So it's incompatible with having a job. So that's something to consider, your life situation at that moment. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so thank you very much for coming to this webinar today. We've got some information here for TKT. Here we've got some information from Cambridge English. Here is the handbook with the marking system that I was showing to you before. We've also got some nice resources here to help you. CELTA information, we've got the information about teaching qualifications. Here is the CELTA syllabus, and here are some helpful study sites. Cambridge offer a range of different websites, of different videos to help you with both your CELTA preparation and choosing which course is good for you as well. And they also have a range of TKT videos which focus on all the different modules in detail. So after this webinar, we're going to make a list of the questions that you've been asking in the comments. So if you've got any questions left to ask, please type them out now. We are going to give this information to you later in a follow-up email, and we'll also make this presentation available for you as well as the webinar. Thank you so much for coming today. We will be in touch very shortly. And I hope to see you in the future on one of our courses here in Tenidiomas. Bye, everyone.